Hello, my name is Charlie Haffey, and I'm an elementary science teacher for the Norwood Public Schools. And the title of today's show is a question. The question is, where am I on the food chain? And the answer to the question, where am I on the food chain, is, it depends on what I'm eating. So let's talk about the food chain for a minute. You might have seen in class, PowerPoint, a video, an explanation of a food chain. Now, all energy on the planet Earth ultimately gets its source from the sun. The sun sends light and heat to the Earth. Now, plants, green plants, right, we've studied. Green plants take the energy from the sunlight and they turn the sun energy, the light energy from the sun, into chemical energy in a process called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Photo means light. Synthesis means to make. The plant uses light to make food. The green pigment in the plant that allows the plant to turn the sun's light energy into chemical energy is called chlorophyll. So we're going to say, in a general way, that any plant, particularly a plant that you're going to eat or could eat, any plant is going to be a producer when we're looking at a food chain. And again, a producer makes food. So here, you got a banana. And you could have a banana, an orange, an apple. There's a variety of things you could be talking about. And someone's going to go, well, Mr. Happy, the banana's not green. Well, the thing is that apples and oranges and pineapples and bananas and Brussels sprouts, well, they're green. But red peppers, they're not green, but they grow from a green plant. They're a plant product. So we're going to say that anytime you're looking at a food item that is from a plant, we're going to call that plant item a producer. And we're going to say that if you're eating that, you're going to go one level higher on the food chain, and you'll be a first order consumer. You'll also hear it as a first class consumer. Same thing. So if an organism is eating a plant, that organism is a first order consumer. Okay? It can get more interesting than that. If I have some flatbread, and bread is made from wheat. And if you look at the ingredients here, the most common ingredient is whole wheat flour. So flour comes from grain comes from a plant. So if you're eating bread, then the bread is from a producer and you would be a first order consumer. If I put on the bread some peanut butter, peanuts grow on a plant, so that would be a producer also. So I have bread that's a producer, I got peanut butter that's a producer, and here, can't really have peanut butter without the jelly. And here I have strawberry preserves, strawberry jelly. Strawberries are from a plant. So the bread is a producer level, the peanut butter is a producer level, the strawberries are a producer level. So if I make and eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, then I am going to be a first order consumer, a first class consumer. Okay? It can get a little tricky. Here I have Veggie Burgers, and I love Veggie Burgers for a couple of reasons. One is I think I'm eating a burger, even though it's made mostly of veggies. So if you have a veggie burger and it's made, if you read the ingredient list, wheat, carrots, onions, celery, then if you're eating a veggie burger, you really are eating a plant product or a variety of plant products. And even if you're eating the veggie burger on the flatbread, you got a producer and a producer. So no matter which way you look at it, if you eat a veggie burger, you're a first order consumer. Okay? That makes some sense. It goes a little bit more complicated as we get up the chain. Okay, here I have Bubba Burgers. I love Bubba Burgers. I mean, who doesn't like a Bubba Burger? The problem is that sometimes people don't know really where their food comes from, and people look at a hamburger and they go, oh, it's a hamburger. They think that somehow that magically just appears. But a hamburger is made from a cow. All beef products are made from cows. So if you're eating a meatball, or if you're eating a steak, or a beef burger, then you are eating a cow product, a beef product. Now, cows eat plants. So any organism that eats a plant would be a first order or first class consumer. So that makes me, when I eat a Bubba Burger or any other beef product, that makes me a second order consumer. Now, here could be the confusing part. If I have my Bubba Burger on a sandwich made out of flatbread, the flatbread is a producer. The Bubba Burger is a first order consumer. So where am I? And we're going to consider this to be like a game. You want to get the highest score on the food chain game that you can. So the bread is a producer. I would be a first order consumer by eating that. The burger is a first order consumer, so I would be a second order consumer for eating that. So we're going to say that if somebody eats a Bubba Burger on a flatbread sandwich, that they're going to be a second order consumer. Okay, the highest score that they can get. Okay? Okay? Okay. It gets even more complicated. Okay? So here I have some tuna fish, and tuna fish is a real common food around here. And again, it comes in a can, and sometimes people have a hard time visualizing where this comes from, but it comes from tuna fish. Now, a tuna fish, in general, they are remarkable predators, okay? So to make this the simplest case that we can, we're going to say that there's some fish swimming around the ocean, and they're going to be eating some plant material, okay? So that makes them a first order consumer, right? The bait fish, if you would. Then a tuna fish can come by and eat them, and that's going to make the tuna fish a second order consumer. Tunas eat fish that eat plants. Plants are producers. The fish that eat them are first order consumers, and that would make the tuna fish a second class consumer, a second order consumer. When I eat a tuna sandwich, that makes me a third order consumer because I am consuming a second order consumer or a second class consumer. And again, with the bread thing, we're going to go for the highest score that we can get. Okay? A problem comes up when you have things that are a mixture. For example, the classic mixture is something like salami, or if you have any other sausages like that. Salami usually is a little bit different than like a beef hot dog because the salami can have a mixture of meat products. If there's pork involved, pigs love to eat vegetables and plants, but they also very well can eat animal products, okay? So if a pig is eating an animal that ate a plant, that makes the pig a second order consumer, and we're going to go with the highest score the pig can win on this game, just like we want to get the highest score that we can get. So if you're eating a pork chop, or if you're eating salami that's got pork in it, right, or if you're eating anything else that could have pork in it, we're going to consider the pig to be a second order consumer, and that would make you a third order consumer. Okay. It gets interesting even more than this. A lot of times, people who are vegetarians, now that's a separate video than this one, but somebody who's a vegetarian might not want to eat any meat products at all. And that's fine. I think that's actually a pretty good way to do it. The problem is, if you have a slice of cheese on a sandwich, cheese in a general way comes from cow's milk. Cow's milk in a general way comes from a cow. So we're going to say that cheese is a meat product. We didn't have to kill the cow to get the meat, and that's an important part of being a vegetarian. But we're going to say from the food chain game that we're playing right now, that if you're eating cheese, right, cheese is not a producer. Cheese is a first order, first class consumer because it's from a cow. If you're eating cheese, then you're going to be a second order consumer. Now the same thing for eggs. Eggs come from chickens, and you're not actually eating the meat of the chicken. So from a vegetarian point of view, that's fine. You know, that, again, another video for that. But we're going to say that if you're eating the product of an animal, then that product is going to take the same food chain level as that animal. So if you're eating eggs, the eggs are a first order consumer, like the chicken they came from, that makes you a second order consumer. If you're eating, if you're drinking milk, milk comes from a cow. So we'll say that even though milk is not meat, it comes from the cow, the milk would be at the first order consumer level. I'm drinking a glass of milk. I'm a second order consumer. So you gotta remember that tuna and pork thing. Tuna and pork in general are second order, second class consumers. So that would make me a third order consumer. So if you get confused about this, just look at the ingredient label and you can see what's in the thing that you're going to be eating, and it might help clear it up. My name is Charlie Haffey, and the title of today's show is Where Am I on the Food Chain? And the answer is, it all depends on what I'm eating. Adam, anchors away, Semper Fi.